So why do some people crush their fitness goals, but other people quit when it gets hard? Today, we're breaking down exactly what it takes to win and why most people fail.
Welcome to the Potential Project.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Potential Project. I'm your host, Sean Calhoun, and if you're here, it's because you're ready to reduce stress, burn stubborn fat, and get your body working with you instead of against you. On this podcast, we're all about simple, no BS strategies for fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle. This way, you can feel strong, confident, and in control. I'll give you the tools, mindset shifts, and habits to help you look and feel your best without spending hours in the gym or stressing over every single meal. Now, let's get into it. All right, so guys, the 6-week challenge at the studio is officially over. For the past few weeks, we've been going over the concept of the week, the focus of the week, and I've been elaborating on my thoughts on what some of those things are, right? And I hope you were following along and actually taking some action steps, because every week that I hop on here and I talk, it's great that I get to share my knowledge with you guys and share my thoughts, but if you resonate with something but you don't do anything about it, that's not gonna help me or you, right? I'm here to try to help you guys improve your health, improve your lifestyles surrounding that. But if we don't do anything with the information, it goes to waste, right? So today, like I said, we're gonna be breaking down some of the reasons why people fail and what it actually takes to win. So just to recap the challenge, right? It was a 6-week challenge and I did all of the final assessments, right? We measured weight, we measured some body fat percentage, we measured some, measurements as far as like inches are concerned with your bicep, your chest, belly button, hips, and thigh, and different things like that. And we also took pictures, right? So what I found was through, I inputted this data into an Excel spreadsheet. This way it could populate what people did in comparison to how they started, right? What their end results were. Some people crushed it. Some people did okay. And there were some people who didn't even show up to their final assessment, right? And this is typical, even though I wish it wasn't, right? When you get a large group of people to take on something, whether it's a coaching program or go to college or start a workout program, you're going to have some people who do great, some people who do okay, and some people who do not. That's just life. But I want to talk about that because through being in the fitness field and hosting many 6-week challenges, you see different personality types, different mental capacities, different outlooks on life and on their health, and just how it results in what people get, right? And I want to break that down a little bit because observing it from the outside, I kind of get to see it cumulatively, right? Like each person who did their own challenge, they were focused on their own journey, what their numbers were, and what their effort was like. But I get to see it from all of the people and kind of take the averages, right? So I've just been trying to sit back and observe and take it all in. And that's what I'm going to talk about today, right? So why do some people succeed while others fail? Well, we're going to break down 3 different keys to success in fitness and really in life. You can approach this to anywhere in life, and my thoughts on it. So the first thing is the more you pay, the more you pay attention. Because I believe that when you invest money into something, you're going to pay attention to it, right? If you got a purse, if you're a female and you got a purse from Walmart for $5, you kind of throw it on the floor. I've used this analogy before, right? You're not taking care of it. If you lose it, oh well. But then all of a sudden, if you spend a couple $1,000s on a Gucci bag or a Louis Vuitton purse or something of that nature, you're going to make sure that, it's with you at all times. You lock it up in your closet when you get home. You're not just leaving it in your car for people to see, right? Like you're taking more care of it. Same thing goes with your fitness in any area of your life. So when you pay for something, you pay attention to it. And that even goes on a scale to say the more you pay for something, the more you pay attention to it. So typically, free or cheap programs aren't going to create any commitment level because there's no real consequence of quitting, right? You start something for free, you're like, oh well, I'm not going to do it, right? So there's an example of this is you can go on most people's YouTube channel, podcasts, maybe they wrote a book. Like let's say you want to learn, let's just stay on fitness, right? I don't have to give a billion examples. Let's stay on fitness, right? And you want to learn how to burn fat. And you're like, okay, I'm going to start researching it. So you go on YouTube, you're listening, you're watching a couple videos, you're listening to my podcast. There's a couple other people that you listen to their podcast. You got some information from Instagram. And guess what? most of that stuff works, right? I could tell you, I could sit here and maybe pull up an old podcast that I did or talk here today and give you some details on how to achieve better health and burn fat. But if you just listen to this for free, you're not going to do anything with it, right? You're probably going to turn this off and go on with your day and go back to the habits that you've been doing. But if I gave you this podcast and I gave you the 5 key fundamental steps to burning fat, but instead of a podcast, I put it into a course online and made you spend $5,000 on it, all of a sudden, you're writing notes down, you're paying attention to everything that I have to say, you're taking action on it, you're being really serious about the steps, and then voila, we get results. So what I'm trying to say here is nothing changed about the information, right? I would still tell you the same things. I try to sit here and preach value on here and on my Instagram and TikTok and things like that. But if you don't do anything with it, it's left out there. So when you pay attention. The second thing is accountability, right? I believe that, you can get motivated to do something, but when you have accountability in a couple forms, it's going to be what pushes you past the high that you get from being, motivated, right? So when you're not motivated, but you've paid for something and now you have a coach or you have a friend doing it with you or people in your family are on board, they're going to support you in the journey, right? Because like I said, the motivation is going to fade, your encouragement is going to fade, things are going to start to, get a little bit hard, and you're going to need someone who's going to push you through that. Hopefully, when you're choosing an accountability partner, this is someone who's not going to sugarcoat it. Right? You always find those friends, or you think they're friends, but people in your life who will lie right to your face just to make you feel good. No, it's okay. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. When really you're screwing up, right? Like you need someone to be not harsh, but real with you, right? And say, hey, look, I understand you're trying really hard, but this is what I'm seeing from you, and you're not being consistent, and we really need to do this together. So let's set a time. We're going to go work out at this time, and we're going to hold each other accountable, and we're going to do this. Even if it, takes 1 day a week at first, we're going to build that up and eventually get to 2, 3, 4 days a week of working out. Someone who's going to tell you the truth. Like I use the example of if you're out to dinner with somebody and they're your friends or they're your partner and they have something stuck in their teeth, do you tell them, right? If you're their real friend, you're going to say, hey, you got something right here. Get that out of your teeth. Rather than allowing them to sit there for hours on end looking like a goofball with food in their teeth, right? A real friend would just say, hey, you got something right here. Let's get that out. So in addition to dinner, right, when you're going on your fitness journey, you want an accountability partner who is going to give you the real deal and not sugarcoat it. And hopefully, if you're paying for someone's coaching, they're going to give you the real deal, right? And hopefully ask you, hey, what type of level of honesty and accountability do you need and want from me? And hopefully you'll say, give me it all, right? I don't want you to beat around the bush. I want you to be open and honest with me when I'm slipping up. And then this way, it allows you to adjust in real time, right? It's going to give you real-time feedback to adjust your progress. Like let's say you're making some progress, but then you slip up. If someone sugarcoats it and says, no, it's okay, you're going to start to go down that slope. But if they can catch it when it starts to happen and say, hey, I noticed this before, this always happens, about 3 weeks in, people start to dip off. We're not doing that. What do we have to do to make an adjustment? That's a real coach, and that's someone who's going to keep you accountable and allow you to keep making progress. So it just really helps. And, when I talk to people in the studio who are doing it with a group of friends or one friend, that's the best. Aside from a coach telling them, things that they should improve on, when they are like a group of 2 to 3 people, they're like, hey, I get to go see my friends. I'm working out at this time. I had someone tell me, I can't believe that I enjoy working out at 5:30 in the morning. I never would have done that before. But guess what? They're doing it with their friends. They're getting it out of the way before the day gets started. Their life is busy with kids. So now they maybe wouldn't have done that before. But since they're doing it with friends, they're doing it and they're seeing the positive outcome because of it. And that will stick as a habit. That is someone who's going to be successful because they're just having fun with it. They're doing it with their friends and they're seeing the positive outcomes rather than harping on the fact that it's so early, right? So another way to be successful, right, in your fitness program is to have a strong why. Now, a strong why is non-negotiable. If you want to succeed in any area of life, You need to have a burning desire for its achievement. And that all stems from a why. Like, why are you doing it? Because we know whenever we embark on a journey, it's going to get hard at some point. Nothing that we do, nothing that comes with a big price tag is going to be easy. So when we're trying to change our health, lose weight, burn fat, put on muscle, whatever it is, it won't be easy. It'll be simple, but it won't be easy. Hey, hope you're loving the episode so far. Thanks for spending some time with me. I got a quick favor to ask. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast because that's how I know you're getting value from the show. And this way, you never miss an episode. All right, now back to the show. So what I'm saying is, if you don't have that burning desire, that why for why you're doing it, it's going to be easy to stop. It's going to be easy to quit. Now, a why comes in two different ways that I see it. One way to have a strong why is that the pain that you're in is so great that you will do anything it takes to change and improve it, right? Like if you are fed up with how you feel, being tired, getting sick all the time, not fitting into your clothes, whatever it is, right? Whatever your pain is, that you cannot stand it anymore, you will spend whatever amount of money, you will do whatever it takes, you will adjust your schedule, and you are in. That's one way to have a strong why. The other why is kind of the opposite, where the potential outcome of what you can achieve is so much greater than what it would be like to go through the pain of doing it. So for example, if you know that you're working at a job and it's going to take you extra hours to get better at sales and you work on commission, but you just know that if you make your quota and you go above that every quarter, you're going to get the bonuses every quarter, you're going to get invited to the trip for the business, they're going to fly you out to some beautiful all-inclusive resort, you're going to be able to afford that new house you've always wanted and do all of those things, right? You're envisioning what it would be like. Well, the thought of achieving that is so amazing that you're willing to withstand those late nights and those extra studying hours and those extra phone calls that you're going to have to make to do it, right? So there's both ends. There's you're in so much pain that you'll do whatever, and then there's that the outcome is so amazing if you just buckle up and go for it, right? So that's parts of your strong why, and you need to hold on to that. You need to know why you're embarking in a fitness journey in the first place. You can't just say, oh, well, I want to be healthy. Everyone wants to be healthy. Everyone. You will not find someone who's like, yeah, you know what, actually, I'm trying to see how quick I can get out of this place and, end my life early. No one wants to do that. We all want to feel good. We all want to be healthy, right? So now that we kind of understand the three ways of what it takes to succeed, you've got your commitment level, paying for something. You've got accountability partners through a friend or a coach, and you've got a strong why. Now, those are kind of the ways that we can succeed. Let's talk about why people quit. Because like I said, when I got done the body composition assessments, it's been hard for me. We're so used to calling them weigh-ins, but we're changing our terminology because it's not just a scale. Like I said, we're doing a bunch of different measurements, and I don't want us to harp on just the number on the scale. So I apologize. We are doing body composition assessments. Anyway, I've done them, and when I was reaching out to people to do their final time, there's some people who just, don't answer. And, they start the challenge and they come for the first week or two, and then you never see them again, right? What happens? Why does this happen? Because guess what? I've been there, not only with my fitness, but with other areas of life where you start something new, you're gung-ho, you start to get some small wins, but then all of a sudden we quit. And why does that happen? So I'm going to break down what the Valley of Despair is if you've never heard of it. And hopefully this makes sense to you guys so that we can break this habit and push through. So there are 5 stages of success, right? The first stage is uninformed optimism. And this is where you don't know what you don't know, really. Like, you're like, all right, I'm going to do this 6-week challenge. This is exciting. I'm going to lose some weight and feel amazing, right? That's the stage of mindset that you're in. You're uninformed and you're optimistic. Then you start, right? The next phase is called informed pessimism. This is where you kind of know that it's not going to be that easy, right? You get started and you're like, wait a second, this is actually kind of hard. I got to meal prep. I got to work out when I'm tired and sore. I got to say no to junk food, right? You're like, wow, this sucks, right? Then phase 3 is the Valley of Despair. And this is where, a lot of people, they get to this point and then boom, they're done, right? And this is why a lot of New Year's resolutions, a lot of people who do challenges don't stick it out even until the end of the challenge. So the valley of despair is when you say, you know what, this sucks. I'm not seeing results fast enough. Maybe I should try something else. Maybe it's the program. Maybe this isn't for me. I have news for you. Most programs, most opportunities in life will work. You know how I know that? Is because if you look at any business, any challenge, any coaching program, there are people with results, right? If you enjoy books, there's people who have successful books out there. If you enjoy cooking, there's people who are successful as chefs. If you like real estate, there are successful real estate agents out there. Doesn't matter what walk of life you look at, there are people who are doing it at a very high level. So when it comes to your health, when you get to the valley of despair, you're saying, you know what, this isn't for me. This sucks. I'm not seeing results. I'm going to try something else. And this is where that loop comes in, where we see there's a new challenge or there's a new gym or there's something else. And guess what happens? It looks so enticing. You're like, this is really hard. But you know what? That Weight Watchers program or whatever it is looks really enticing because what you're doing isn't coming fast enough. But really, what could be happening is that you fully don't believe in it. You're not following the steps properly. You're not being consistent. There's a lot of things that happen. And guess what? It's meant to be hard. This is going to happen in any phase of your life. And I'm sure you've been here before. And if you have success in some area of your life, you've pushed through it. And if there's an area that you've been struggling in your life, you've dealt with this a ton of times. And I know you know what I'm talking about. And you start to see these other opportunities and say, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me. I'll try this other thing. But guess what you're going to do? You're going to start back in uninformed optimism. You're going to start something new. You're going to say, this is exciting. I'm going to finally do it this time and feel amazing. And then you start and you're like, wait a second, this sucks. This is hard, right? And then you're going to get back to the valley of despair, find something else, and you're going to go do that cycle all over again. And this is the main reason for this episode. And this is why I get so passionate about trying to help people with their health, because it doesn't have to be that hard. Right? It does not have to be that hard. We can use those 3 keys that I talked about in the beginning of the episode to push through this valley of despair. But when you do, and I know that you will, because you're listening to this and you're fed up, you want to be better, you want results, and you want to live in a state of health where you just feel good and you're not stressed about it all the time. So when you finally get through that valley of despair, you end up in stage number 4, which is informed optimism, where you say, okay, this is working. I just got to stick with it. You push through those days where it felt like everything was going wrong. You got a flat tire. It was cold out. Someone called you. Your neighbor passed away. I don't know. Things are just going crazy in life. And that's the exact moment where you need to step back, don't get emotional, and say, okay, this is life testing me. This is where I need to push through and stick to my habits and stick to the plan and remove my emotion. Then you can start to see a little bit more progress and you're like, okay, this is working. Just got to keep going. And when you feel that taste of a little bit of more motivation, a little bit more progress, that's when it becomes a habit. That's when you start to do things, and you really get excited to keep going. And then finally, step 5 is success and habit formation. This is where you've done it past the hard times. You've done it enough days in a row. You've done it when all things were against you. You kept pushing, and then it becomes your new normal. You're going to start getting results, and you're going to start feeling amazing. And guys, that's what I want for all of you. I want you all to get there. So go back and listen to the beginning of the episode and realize there's 3 key ways to get you past the valley of despair. Paying more money for something, having an accountability partner, and having a very strong why. So I challenge you guys, please listen to this again. Write some of this stuff down, because those steps getting to the valley of despair happen all the time. Hopefully you're going to start to be more aware of them and say, you know what, this is where this happens. This is where I start to get a little discouraged and start looking elsewhere, right? That's why most divorces happen, because all of a sudden you're with this person. It's great in the beginning. The honeymoon phase is amazing. And then you realize, oh man, I don't like the way this person brushes their teeth. They actually, don't pick up their laundry, or they actually fart. I didn't realize that. And then you start to look elsewhere and say, oh man, it would be cool being with this person, they look perfect from the outside, and then you realize they got problems too. So my point is, let's push through that valley of despair. Let's use the tools and our surroundings and the people to hold us accountable and to get through it so that we can too live a healthy, happy life. Hey, thanks for spending some time with me on today's episode. I hope you got a ton of value from it. If we're not connected on Instagram yet, let's change that. Hit me up at Sean Calhoun _. That's SEAN Calhoun _. Shoot me a DM. Let me know what you think of the show or if you got any questions about how to level up your health. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next episode.